All right, without any further ado, we got another Hall of Fame induction ceremony coming up here, July 16th at Canal Park up in Akron. Northeast Ohio Baseball High School Coaches Hall of Fame. And we got the guy on the line right now, Jeff Hite, kind enough to join us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Hiter, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Sam. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Hey, first of all, congratulations. I know you're excited for the big induction ceremonies coming up, and a lot of people who have been in the area, or maybe they haven't, the incredible job that you have done. Obviously, you were an outstanding player, but as a coach and doing your things at Hoover and at Malone and just continually teaching and teaching people about life, teaching people about sports, a well-deserved honor. And I know you're proud. I know you're happy about it.
Yeah, it's a great honor, Sam. Northeastern Ohio is great, got great athletics, baseball, softball. So I am truly humbled, but Sam, you don't get these awards without having great players, and I don't lose sight of that.
Oh, no doubt about it. And you've had some great players, obviously some great assistant coaches, and let's go back and maybe start where it all began for you, whether it was on the diamond or in the coach's box or in the dugout. Did you? What kind of a coaching future did you see for yourself, and did you think that would go as well and you had as much success as if you've had?
Yeah, it's sort of hard to explain, Sam. I played baseball at Hoover for Coach Isley, and then I was fortunate enough to play baseball at Ashland University. And I think at that point, it's where it all started. My coach, Lou Markle, said, "What do you want to do after you get done baseball here at Ashland?" And I looked at him. I said, "Coach, I just want to play baseball."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "That's great, but what are you going to do after that?" And I said, "I have no idea." So he basically, sent me down the road of coaching. And, I think when you're a coach or going to be a coach, you look at people that are successful. And I think that anybody from North Canton, Ohio goes right back to Don Hurtler Sr. And I talked to him a lot about coaching, his philosophy. He has done it for such a long period of time. And then after him was Ed Glass and Coach Hurtler, Don Hurtler Sr.'s son, Donnie. So I was in good company, the Joe Gilhouses of the world, the Doug Millers. All those people had a tremendous impact on my coaching career.
Isn't it wild, Jeff, that you go back and you just mentioned three of the greats there, and I know there's many, many others. Isn't it amazing the melting pot? How many relationships that you grasp onto over the years, all the conversations, the clinics, the games, the practices, the meetings, how many people that actually affect you over your lifetime of coaching and playing? It's really remarkable if you go back and look at it.
Sam, I think everybody that I've ever came in contact with has influenced me on one way or another, whether it's, playing with them, coaching against them, many, many years in the Canton Class A League. And, I think the big thing about athletics, as you well know, is it's the memories, it's the stories that, us baseball and softball people, all we do is talk about the stories when we sit and talk about things. So, it's everybody that I've ever been around has influenced me in one way or another. And to all those people, I'm very, very grateful.
Jeff Hite is our guest. He will be inducted into the NEO Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame coming up July 16th, Canal Park in Akron, part of an outstanding class. And, of course, Jeff, when did you first fall in love with the sport of baseball? Let's start with that.
Well, I think I was around 9 years old. And truthfully, I was in a bike riding distance of Dick Miller Field now. And I used to go over and watch Joe Gilhousen, Jerome Pruitt, Bob Neff, all those guys play Class A ball. And, those guys were like professionals to me when you're a 9-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
And, I love the game. I wanted to be like those guys. And, it's sort of ironic that I played such a long career in the A-League and, North Canton Little League and on to intercity baseball and all the way up through Ashland. So, honestly, it was quite a journey.
Was there a point in time in your playing career, and maybe it happened at the end, I don't know, where you thought, this coaching thing, this could be a bug that I might like to catch, and I think I'm going to pursue that? Did it hit you at a certain point of time, or that just kind of happened?
Well, it just sort of happened, again, let me go back to Ashland where, I graduated, with an education degree and, Malone gave me an opportunity to coach JV baseball at Hoover. And, I did that for a couple of years, coached 1 year. My first head coaching job was at Coventry High School. And then, Joe Eaton called me in and said, "What about this softball job?" And honestly, Sam, I didn't know anything about it. I knew they threw underhand and the bases were short. That was my knowledge of softball. So, Jerry Goodpasture, legendary coach at Hoover, talked me through it. And, in my mind, hitting and fielding were the same. The ball was just a little bit bigger. And, but I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it, loved it. Kids were awesome, had a lot of great players. And there's something special about going back to your high school and coaching. That's makes it doubly special.
And you had some great players. You had some great people. If you wouldn't mind, maybe talk about some of the student athletes that you had to work with at Hoover, and maybe some of the great memories that you shared with them along the way.
Well, I think obviously in softball, Katie Chain comes to mind. You're only as good as your pitching. And the truth of the matter is, in those back-to-back state titles in '98 and '99, we had 7 Division I players. So I think my job was just to put them in a position to win and get out of their way and let them go play. So that was, I think that's been 26 years ago or so. It seems like it was yesterday. But, they were great players. They played the game the right way. And it was just, and then baseball, you have your Dom Eros, your Will Howders, just the list goes on. And I know I'm missing a lot of people, but it was just a special group. It's the orange and black, as I always say, just a special place, special group of players. And I was very, very fortunate to coach there for 28 years.
That is a great run. Jeff Hite is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, stream live at 1310WDPN.com. So the high school, the playing, the coaching, the memories, the state championships, nothing better. And then you make the jump to college, and as of now, the softball coach over at Malone. What kind of a transition was that for you, and is it as fun as you thought it might turn out to be?
It was a huge transition because Tom Crank called me, one of my best friends, who's obviously the baseball coach at Malone. He says, "The softball job's open here. Why don't you come down here and apply for this job and try to build this thing?" And I'm like, "Tom, I don't know anything about recruiting. I don't know anything about the NCAA rules. I don't know any of this stuff." And he walked me through it and, interviewed for the job and, fortunately got the job. And it's great, Sam. I tell everybody this, the bell doesn't ring and I have to go teach class. If I want to spend an hour in my office with one of my players, I can do that. If I want to go to lunch with somebody, I can do that. But, the bus rides, are neat. The memories that you make, the universities that you go visit. There's a lot of great universities that I would never been on their campus without softball. So, I love it right now. It's year 5. I think we're going in the right direction, and I keeps me young, Sam.
I can't believe it's been 5 years. I just cannot believe it. That's just, time is just flying by. So how much longer do you think you'll go at it? I mean, you mentioned you're on the right path. You're you've always been a great recruiter, but I mean, you're getting girls that want to come in there, that they want to play, they want to study, they want to grow up to be great people. And once you start getting, back to back classes like that, then you watch the whole thing blossom. How long do you want to do it?
Oh, I don't know, Sam. Honestly, I think every coach knows when it's time, and hopefully I will do that before I, coach too long and how do you want to put it? You should have got out earlier, as a lot of people, So I don't know. I'm year to year, Sam. I love the grind of recruiting, going and visiting schools, different places, the venues, North Ridgeville, Berliner, down at Maz's place, recruiting kids. And I love the visits. I love all that stuff. And, somebody told me way back, when you don't get a kid, don't take it personal. But it's hard. But, we've gotten good kids. And obviously, my philosophy has always been keep the kids in Starr County and get those kids, and you're going to be successful. And that's what we've tried to do. So here we are.
Now, even though it's been just a 5-year window for you, how has recruiting changed since you started doing the college?
Well, I think 3 letters, NIL. I think that, it probably doesn't affect me as much as the mid majors like the Kenton Akrons, because if you have a great player, they're going to go to a potential Power Five. If we happen to have a really, really good player, yeah, you run the risk of losing them to a mid major. But, a lot of people have different opinions on NIL stuff, and it's here. It's here to stay. And I think as coaches, we just have to deal with it.
It's certainly something that a lot of coaches didn't have on their bingo card when they got into the business. I know that it's between the NIL, the transfer portal. We've all talked to a bunch of coaches about that. It's just it's a whole new game, and you better be ready to dig in the trenches and fight the fight, because you're right. It certainly isn't going anywhere. Coach, I really appreciate you coming on today. Before you go, we got a little 3-question Thursday quiz. We'd love to put you through that. You ready?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. You'll like this, maybe. What's a better high school football kickoff time, 7 or 7:30?
Well, Sam, I've heard you talking on the show earlier. I grew up in the 8 o'clock starts.
Me too.
So I believe football should be played at night when it's dark. But again, here's the problem: spread offenses, games take longer. They used to run the ball back in the day, so 7:30 is good. I agree with what your listeners are saying. 7:30.
I think 7:30 is good too. Question 2: if you didn't live in Ohio, what would be the next state you would like to reside in?
Probably in Florida, so I could go watch spring training games and enjoy it and not have to worry about recruiting or coaching.
All right. Question number 3. Coach Hite, where were you 9 years ago today? Cavs win the NBA title.
Sam, I was on my living room couch with a Mountain Dew shaking, thinking, I thought the Indians were going to win it. And I'm thinking, what is going to happen now? And I was almost in tears. The first thing I thought about is this: I got to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy something that says World Champions on it.
Yes.
And I'll never forget it.
Yep. That was an incredible night. Well, we are very proud of you, Coach. Congratulations. Soak it all in. July 16th, Canal Park, inducted into the NEO Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame. Absolutely, positively well-deserved. And have a great night. We'll catch up with you here down the road. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it, Sam. I got a shout out to my granddaughter who's 4 today, Ryan. So can't miss that one.
Happy birthday. Have fun at the party tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Jeff Hite joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.